Welcome back to the bubble, ladies and gentlemen, and Cossacks 3. Today we have another replay commentary. It was a game that I played a couple of days ago, almost a week I might say, together with Milkman and Josh. Two of probably the most well-known nicks from the Discord channel. Of course, our main mentor Milkman, and Josh, who has his own YouTube channel, where he plays some Cossacks 3 and some other games as well. So make sure to check out his channel, of course. This is a 3 versus 3 with 15 minutes of peacetime and 5k starting resources and no artillery or no capture. So it's going to be a very interesting game, I might say. As I recall, I very much enjoyed playing it. So let's just dive into the different factions and players and colors, etc. so we know kind of what we're looking at on the game. Starting off with me in the bottom right as Austria in red. Then we can go to Josh, who's in the middle in orange, playing as Hungary. And in the bottom left, we have Milkman in blue, playing as Prussia. So we are very pushed down to the absolute end of the map almost. So I wonder how much place our opponents are actually going to have. We can start taking a look at them. And I will start with the top left corner, Polak in brown, playing as Bavaria. And in the middle, a bit closer to us actually, in purple is Bob Beamon, playing as France. And last but not least, we have Tarantul in green, playing as Saxony. And Tarantul, I remember that name as more and more the more I play, basically. I played against him a lot of times, it feels like. I would very much like to actually be on his team every once in a while, because he's actually a very good player. And also Polak is a very good one as well, as I know. I don't really know how Bobimon plays. I haven't played against him that much, but Tarantul for sure I remember. So that is the different players and the different factions, and without any further ado or any further anticipation, let's just dive into it. One thing that's very interesting to note about Austria, don't know why I'm so slow to start going, is that their town hall builds so quickly. Look at that, it's already done. And that is something that kind of set my rhythm out of balance, to be honest, because I'm not used to the town halls being finished so gosh darn quickly. Now we have the storehouse and also the blacksmith starting to go. And now we're going for the market so we can start trading for our other town halls. And then I just set fire to the storehouse right away, because I don't really need a storehouse there. I just wanted to build it as fast as possible so we can get the marketplace up. And just gonna wait a little bit, and then we can see once again just how fast the town hall is actually built. Starting to trade my... I need to start trading my iron, yes, and my coal, and also trade some of my gold so I can afford the third town hall and also start building my barracks and the academy as soon as possible. But I wasn't quite prepared on how fast we got the town hall up and running. So far, it started to look pretty good, though. Started to find one of my gold mines, so let's go to my teammates, where we have Josh, of course, and he is still on 2 town halls. Looks like he has traded, though. Now he's going for the third town hall. He just smacked down a barrack before getting the third town hall. No problem with that whatsoever. And also that storehouse is a bit better positioned than mine. I guess the best part would be to put it just south of the resources, but whatever. The important thing is just to get it quickly so that you can get the marketplace up and running and start trading with as advantageous of a ratio as possible. But all in all, I would say he's doing very well. Now he's starting to send peasants to wood cutting. I mean, it's good to have some lumber, I guess. Usually I just trade my gold for more barracks or and also the academy and whatnot. Let's go over to Milkman, see how Prussia is doing. Very tightly packed base. I love the layout of the Prussian town halls, the same as like Netherlands or Bavaria or anything that you can pack very tightly. Same thing goes for the barracks, also very easy. I think they have the same size on the ground, so to speak, as the town halls. 2 barracks, 3 town halls, and now he's already going for the academy, so we can get the first food a food upgrade and also the wood cutting efficiency upgrade. That is going to be so important when it comes to building your stables and get those up and running as fast as possible. One thing that Milkman has always been incredibly good at, and something that I'm very jealous at his skill of, is how quickly he's able to like boom his economy when it comes to gold, because he's focusing a lot on that at the beginning. And now you can see that some of the peasants went to the field without starting to chop, and that happens if you right click to have them go somewhere and just slides a little bit, so you set the direction of the peasants and not only the location. Then they don't do anything. They don't go into the mine, they don't start harvesting food, they don't start excavating stone and whatnot and whatnot. But already he has 15 on gold. I think he just has a problem finding his 4th gold mine, and that is always a bit tricky now in the beginning of the game. But he had it completely in the back here of the base, back corner. The last place you look, last place you look. But now he's gonna start upgrading as crazy, of course. If we look at our opponents, it looks like Polak is actually doing a very good job point-wise, almost at the lead when it comes to points. Also a very tightly packed base. 2 barracks up and running. He has the academy. Hasn't gotten any upgrades in it yet, though. I guess I would go for the first food and then the wood cutting efficiency, so that we can start working on the stable, and then send like 25 peasants or something to this this forest. Let's call it a forest, so we can start building our stables. He has found his 4th gold mine though, and he has one on iron as well, and that is very important because in the beginning we trade away our iron and our coal so we can build our 3rd town hall. So you need an iron mine as fast as possible as well, at least one, just so you can maintain the production of your musketeers. Very, very important stuff. If you go down to Bobimon, who seems to be falling a little bit behind right now, as France, much more spread out civilization, and also only on 2 town halls. He hasn't gotten a marketplace up even yet, so he has a lot of coal, a lot of iron, but also he's falling behind when it comes to peasant count, and also, of course, all in all, economical growth. So that's why it's so important to get the 3rd town hall, especially when you play with peacetime. Then all of the extra peasants you can get to harvest resources is super important. Super important. But also, I might guess, also he has 2 barracks though, so he has that going for him. He's gotten he's gotten the wood cutting upgrade, he's gotten the field capacity upgrade, and also the harvesting upgrade. So he's doing well on those parts. Let's jump over to Tarantul and see how he's doing as Saxony. Very packed base as well. He has the first stable up and running. And this, in Cossacks 1, I used to love playing as Saxony because I just loved the design of their units. And unfortunately, their Cossacks 1 version of Saxonian Reiters has been replaced with just standard Reiters, and instead their cavalry guard has replaced the regular 18th century cuirassiers. But also I thought that their units from the 18th century barrack, etc., were so cool, especially the grenadiers. I love that, so I'm a bit sad that those designs are gone, unfortunately. But he's doing well when it comes to military production, and he also has drummers. I'm guessing he's going to use them as scouts. Yes. And why you might want to do that is because the drummers have very, very good vision, so they see a long way. Like this. There's no other units here, just the drummer gives all of this visibility. And worth to keep in mind is that you need to set them to guard themselves, so to speak. And I usually wondered, like, why do you set the drummers to guard themselves? And that is because when you select the hotkey to select all of your military units, then you don't select the guards. So the units who are guarding the mines, you don't select them, and of course you don't select the drummers who are guarding themselves. So that's one way to get very good visibility, and also not having to worry about selecting like the wrong types of units when you select all of your military. He's going for a second mill right there, and I understand that, because the first one, a lot of that food capacity were chomped up by the town hall positioning. But he still must have gotten the mill up crazy quick. Crazy quick. We still have 5 minutes left of peacetime, and if we look at the points, we are starting to pull ahead a little bit. Looks like I'm doing a pretty good job. So we can go down to me. I have 3 stables right now, and one thing I love about Austria is that they get the Croats, fast cavalry, already in the 17th century. And the same thing goes for Hungary, they also get hussars in the 17th century. They don't get any in the 18th, though, so keep that in mind, that they only get one type of fast cavalry, and they get it already in the 17th century. Whereas I get the 18th century hussars as well, and they will be a bit stronger than the Croats when they are fully upgraded. And also, I think they train a little bit faster once we've gotten the harness upgrade. Now we got the Diplo Center up and running, just going for round shears. And if we just take a brief look at my base, I absolutely love the design of this base, and the terrain was very advantageous to me, because look at what we have here. We have one hill here that's going to give range advantage to whatever unit stands there. We have one here that's going to give me range advantage, and another one here. So I am very difficult to attack without suffering heavy casualties due to the increased range I'll get on these hills. And also we have a mountain here, so I have a very good natural wall to the north of my base. So of course I'm gonna take this mountain as fast as possible and set all of my spawning points for my military buildings on that specific hill. Could have also set it here, of course, but I don't want to miss out on this one, because the one hill you're not standing on is probably gonna be the one that your enemy is gonna try to take. Looks like I'm kind of fumbling my mines. I have 2 idle mines right now that have been upgraded, but that I haven't put any units in. When I upgrade my mines, usually what I go for is this. I upgrade all of my gold mines to level 2. That's the first priority. And after that, I go for coal mines to level 2. And then last case scenario, not all of my iron mines, but at least some into level 2 as well, because iron and coal, it's important to a lot of upgrades that we can get. First and foremost, of course, the harness that I've gotten right now, and also for the stone excavation upgrade, 12,500 coal. And also I think it's pretty important to, there we go, the second rate of fire upgrade as well, 15,000 coal. And then of course, as soon as units start shooting, we know that coal and iron is gonna disappear in the blink of an eye. 1 minute left of peacetime. And now I want to actually take a look at the gold economies. I have 48 -3 in my gold mines. Milk is actually on 40 -5. So all of his gold mines are in level 2. Hasn't started upgrading into level 3 yet. But I'm guessing that he has very good reasoning for that. Although he has 4 stables, that might actually be the thing. I think I only have 2 or 3, sorry. Yeah, I only have 3. Milkman is up to 4, which will mean that he will get a lot of cavalry up and running. Already at 40 dragoons. Has he gotten the harness yet? He absolutely has. And now we have come to that point in time where all of us need to start working on our population growth, because 600 is what you get with 2 barracks and 3 town halls. For most factions, not like Algeria, Turkey, Russia, Ukraine, or Scotland. I don't think they have the same rate, but most European factions do. So then when we start massing troops out from the Diplo Center, then that population is just chomped up very, very quickly. And that's why it's always important to keep an eye on your population growth, and also to start building a lot of dwellings. I love Josh's map as well, actually. This hill that we talked about earlier, he has another one here, a lot of mountains that protects him. While Milkman only has this hill, but also a lot of mountains that they need to run through or around, or between, or around rather, to get into his base. So we have very good possibility defensive-wise, and now I'm actually starting to send out some of my Croats to just feel the temperature a little bit. Get the temperature of the water, see what I'm up against in Tarantul's base, because look at his points. He's doing very well on points, actually. And here we are moving in. The Croats are not going to be able to do a good job here. I mean, they are doing their best, but round shears are going to soak up a lot of those swords, and there are so many musketeers and dragoons to just shoot them down. So this was just me feeling the temperature a bit, testing out the waters, and it cost me a lot of Croats, but now at least I know a little bit of what we're up against. I still have some Croats here killing the round shears as soon as they are recruited, but now they're gonna get shot down by the dragoons. Now we have some Hungarian hussars coming as well from Josh. I don't really know what he wants to do with this. Maybe also test out the waters, because both of us can get a lot of fast cavalry already in 17th century. So we killed a couple of peasants. We can't capture, of course. And now he's scouting around on the back of Bob Beemon's base. And also maybe trying to go around to Polacks. But I must say, I drew first blood. And now the game is on. Don't really know how much damage these Hungarian Hussars can do. They should be pretty good because you can't get 18th century Croats. Or 18th century Hussars, sorry. But he's doing some damage to the economy, but now he's running straight into Bob Beemon's base, where Polak has set a massive amount of reinforcements. And interesting thing to point out is that Bob Beemon plays as France, and they get two options of dragoons in the 17th century from the stable. They get the regular 17th century dragoons, and also they get the King's Musketeers. And it might be very tempting to go for the King's Musketeers, because, like, unique units is always interesting to get, right? But King's Musketeers, they take a long time to train, 27 seconds, and they cost a lot. 100 gold per King's Musketeer. So that means that is 1200 gold right there. That's a mine upgrade. Just for 12 King's Musketeers. But they kind of balance this out by having an insane amount of damage. I think fully upgraded they have... Yeah, they have 63 right now. Which means that if their bullets would be able to penetrate, they would be able to kill 2 Diplo Center Grenadiers, basically, with 1 shot. So insane amount of damage. But that comes with a hefty price tag as well. Speaking of price tags, now Milkman and Josh has combined an army to move into Bob Beemon, and in the same time, I am moving into Tarantul's base again. Let's see where the action is gonna be first. Fortunately, I have some reinforcements. And here we have the battle lines facing each other. I don't know why my Austrian musketeers moved forward without shooting. They just want to take one for the team, I guess. But so far, they aren't even being shot down. Very passive on both of our sides right now, just letting our musketeers shoot and see who's gonna be the one deal of the final blow. In the same time, I have Croats running around raiding, trying to go for these dragoons, because dragoons cannot fight in melee, of course, so they will be very vulnerable to fast cavalry. But now Tarantul moved forward, so now all of us are shooting as much as we can, but it looks like he will have the advantage when it comes to firepower, and that will not be good for me. One thing, of course, worth mentioning is that when you play as Austria, you have similarities to your musketeers compared to Spain, because both of them have armored musketeers, so they benefit from the breastplate, the cuirasses or breastplate upgrades from the academy and the blacksmith. But those upgrades are really expensive, 10,500 iron and 10,000 gold almost. So that costs a lot, and also they take longer time to train. So you will not be able to mass up as many troops. But speaking of massing up troops, here we see that Bob Beemon is moving in to harass, but it's only musketeers, and they will be quickly cut down by the Hungarian Hussars. So it was brave. Valiant effort, but not enough. The French base is under attack, and here we have 2 separate armies, one led by Josh and one led by Milkman, and they are trying to move in to try to outmaneuver or outflank the giant army of Polak, who is standing right here in the back of the base. First, just shooting everything that comes in range, and we don't necessarily want to be the first one to make a move, because fortunately, or if you're lucky, your opponent won't be moving and shooting, so you'll get some free kills there. Milkman is moving in, trying to do some flank here, but Polak is way too inexperienced player, moving back into safety. And it feels like this is not the last time we're gonna see those guys at each other's throats. More Hungarian Hussars are coming in to help out. I'll just keep massing up my army here, and eventually I will try to push on Tarantul again, because we have kind of divided up our opponents. Of course, me, Milkman, and then Josh, we were talking throughout the whole game on the Discord channel, so we managed to get as many plans up as possible, basically. So we divided our opponents between us. I said, okay, I'll focus on Tarantul, do all I can to wipe him out as fast as possible, and you can take care of Bob Beemon and Polak, because we saw that Polak sent all of his forces to reinforce in Bobimon's base. Another beautiful attack of Hungarian Hussars. I don't think they will be enough, though, but you can't get any better opportunity there than to attack the undefended Dragoons. But they were just too many, and that's the end of the Hungarian Hussars. Down here, it's still kind of a stalemate. Milkman has started creating some grenadiers from the Diplo Center to destroy some of the mines here. He's got one gold mine, another gold mine is on fire. A lot of resources left on the map here for Bobimon. But now we'll need to see who's gonna make the first move. Both of them are standing there and sending reinforcement. Josh is sending reinforcements in the shape of round shears. Now Milkman is moving up, just getting as many free kills as possible. And these kills on the King's Musketeers. And now we see the whole map. Beautiful. And those kills on the King's Musketeers, those aren't cheap for Bobimon. He only has one stable, and that's 100 gold for each of the King's Musketeers. Hurts even more when he only has 2 gold mines. At least that's what I see. No, he only has 1 gold mine, actually, and that one is on fire. And Polak is doing a great job maneuvering right here, because if he can come in from the side, here, then Polak will have a great advantage. Josh is trying to reposition, but Polak is starting to move in with his round shears. And now he's scared off the Musketeers from Hungary. So now he starts moving in with his entire army. And he has a beautiful angle here on Milkman's army. And he has so many of them. Just look at all those Dragoons. The round shears are coming in to be a shield wall, literally, in front. But they will all get shot down pretty quickly. But not before all of the Musketeers and all of the Grenadiers from both blue and orange have been swept away. Beautiful fight there by Polak. Great work. Kind of sucked for us, of course. But, I mean, game gotta recognize game, right? And I still think he did a massive job there at trying to defend Bobimon's base. I don't know how much they communicated throughout the game, because there is a chat, so you can talk to your teammates. Now, I'm starting to send some Croats up to just clear out these Dragoons. I saw that they were a bit vulnerable, and I had the numbers to deal with it. At least deal a massive amount of damage. But now we have round shears coming in, a lot of them, and even more Dragoons. So I will not be able to stand up here much longer. But at least I got a lot of kills on the Dragoons. Keep sending the Croats in, trying to deal as much damage as possible, sending them towards the Dragoons. But now all of them are basically shot down. But all in all, I got a big part of Polak's army to move back. So now all of us just need to collectively start pushing our front lines forward a little bit. Milkman has just an insane army. How many do you actually have? 1,400 population. I would guess that most of that is army, actually. So this is not going to be fun to face at all. And no one wants to attack that hill, that's for damn sure. But I will keep on me, so we can see the whole map. Because when I jump to Josh or Milkman, we don't see the whole map. So I'll just stay on me. And eventually maybe jump between some other players. Keep sending some Croats just to be a nuisance, basically. Tarantul is still hanging out in his base, just massing up as many units as possible, so that it will be expensive for me to try to wipe him out. And that's the strategy you should go for. One thing I would recommend is just to make smaller formations here. I think this would be... This looks like 72 and 120. Yeah, so that's a bit broad. Usually you want to go for 36 on the infantry. If you don't want to go absolutely bananas like Milkman did when he played Ukraine and made 15 unit formations and created the myth of the Ukrainian bullet, which is very difficult to outflank because there are no flanks. It's just a big blob, basically, who's going to shoot you to smithereens. But now they, of course, have the balloon as well, so we can see the whole map, which is great. Now, still a stalemate. Who's going to be the next one to attack? Polak has built some palisades here, so have Bobimons. Have I called him Bombard? At least, yeah, his name is Bobimon, whatever. And he's starting to build his... Not whatever, of course, I have utmost respect for Bobimon. And now he's starting to rebuild his mines, trying to get some better economy, and that is what you absolutely need to do. Have you started upgrading your mines yet, my friend? No, that's still on level 2. That one is at level 2. This one is still on level 1. But they are all so... I mean, this is the worst place to have your gold mines in front of your base, because they're going to be so easy to just send some archers up to wipe them out. And then your entire economy is hurting. Now we see that some Dragoons are going to move up. Are they going to attack the round shears, maybe? Because they are faster than the round shears. They have longer range of attack. So I think they would be able to kite the round shears into oblivion if they start to move forward. But Polak doesn't see the Croats that I've sent around. Or actually, I'm into the 18th century now, so I'm going with the Hussars. Now we can actually do a comparison. You have 14 damage, 260 health, 13 damage, 230 health. But if I recall correctly, I haven't upgraded these ones basically at all. So when they are more upgraded, of course, they will be a lot stronger. And now, speaking of being stronger, Tarantul is starting to send out some of his dragoons, I guess, just to see if he can find an opening. And I, of course, saw that, fortunately. So I'm sending troops over to this hill to try to deny him that. And in the meantime, I'm sending fast cavalry to take this hill away from the dragoons. Because I saw that they were only 40, and we should be able to clear out that distance quickly enough. And they are doing a great job. But the dragoons have a lot of health, it seems like. I'm not killing them as fast as I thought I would, to be honest. But, of course, not a lot of upgrades, so they are still very weak, Hussars. They are fast, though. Gotta give them that. Very fast. And they managed to clear it out. I wonder if that's gonna lead to Tarantul wanted to pull back. Doesn't look like that's the case. I'm still gonna hold this hill, and it looks like I shouldn't start moving back. I'm trying to maneuver on the minimap. And he is not standing in the best position, because now I can get a lot of free kills on all of my musketeers who are very well in range. And Tarantul did the smart choice there and pulled back his troops instead of starting to push the hill. Because if he would push the hill, he would not be doing well. Feels like I've talked about hill advantage and range advantage on hills 1,000 times. But it's so gosh darn important. Never attack an enemy standing on the hill unless you're absolutely sure that you will outman him like crazy. Like I did with the Dragoons, for example. I still send some Croats and Hussars in to just be a nuisance. Kill some of the economy if I can. Just keep sending them in. And we have another massive army forming on the south side of Bob Beemon's base. Both Josh and Milkman is teaming up yet again. I would like to see these roundshears actually stand in formation, though. Like the Musketeers are down here. But I'm guessing that he has a plan for it. And in the meantime, Polak is moving out with his massive army. Look at this. So many troops. How much population do you have? 1,700. Same amounts as... Oh, almost exactly the same amounts as Milkman. Or as me, rather. That's interesting. Milkman is on 2.4, so he has more population than all of us. For sure. Tarantul is starting to pull back right now, because I think he realized that he couldn't take those hills. But now, let's see if we can get some action going here. And this is going to be a brutal fight. Two combined armies facing off against Polak's massive monster, absolute monster of an army. Now I want to see if they're going to move in. Actually, Polak started moving back, which means the Milkman and Josh will start moving in. But now they're getting too scattered, too divided, so they will very easily be shot down by Polak's army. I'm starting to send some Hussars up on the right side of the map again. Just keep harassing Tarantul. And here we have it. And here we have another battle of the fields. Milkman, smaller formation with a lot of Hussars moving in against Polak. Who still stands on the field. All of his ranged troops are in stand ground, so they don't start running away, but keep shooting. And the round shears looks like they are getting absolutely swallowed up by the massive army of Hussars. The King's Musketeers are doing their best to help, but there are just too many Musketeers, or not too many Musketeers, but too many Hussars. So the Polak's army is basically gone, while Milkman's army is very much intact due to the Hussars. And now, Bobimon could destroy this mine, dealing a lot of damage to the troops that have gathered around there. Still going, but it looks like Milkman should have the advantage here. Both of them are in range, full range of each other. And no one's pushing forward, but it's so even. Actually, it looks like Milkman is starting to lose out right now. But Polak started pulling back, but I don't think Milkman actually has the troops to sustain this aggression. On my side of the map, I still stand on this hill, and I see that Tarantul is starting to move his army over, and that is most of his army, actually. They're just so packed into formation. Started sending some Hussars in just to be a nuisance, killing them because they are moving without attacking, which means that I will be able to get quite a lot of free kills on them. Very great stuff. And now, because his army is divided, what I would like to do is try to catch him while he's on both sides of the mountain. And it looks like that's what I'm going to try to do. Kind of like a Bannockburn kind of thing. Like catching them before they have stopped or gotten completely into formation. And this is going to be an interesting fight. None of us have the right angle. So it's just two big snake blobs moving into each other. So now it's all about who has the most firepower or who has the most men, basically. Because none of us have the strategic or tactical advantage. But it looks like I had more round shears and I set them to move and attack. While green had his round shears just hanging around. And that means that I will be able to just absolutely bulldoze over that army. And now, most of my army is still intact. A lot of them are at least, although a lot of the formations are very, very damaged. So now I will need to start pushing forward yet again, trying to deal even more damage to Green's base, now that I know that he doesn't have as many troops left. So that was a very good battle for me. Not a very good one for Tarantul. But it would have been even worse for him if I came in at a correct angle. So I had a broadside on him standing in the line. That would have been absolutely brutal. Now I'm just massing up all my troops, starting to push in again. Nothing's happening in Bob Beemon's base. He's just trying to rebuild as much as possible. Two barracks, still only down to one stable, though. Although, yes, he has started rebuilding over here. Okay, so he has a town hall over there. He also has a 18th century barrack. We can start making troops. Two, actually, and another stable up here. That's smart, actually, starting to rebuild the army over here instead. And still making the King's Musketeers. And you can see he's insufficient resources, out of gold, always, because these are so gosh darn expensive. But now they are fully upgraded, and let's see what upgrades he has from the Academy. I actually want to see that as well. Almost all of the firepower upgrade. So now, 75 damage. They one-shot a lot of basic things, actually. They almost one-shot a regular Musketeer. Now they do. 75, 70, yeah, so they one-shot a regular Musketeer. Speaking of one-shots, here we have another massive army in green, or battle in Green's base. He hasn't put enough of his units into formation, and my round shears are just gonna be able to close the distance very quickly, killing all of the ranged troops who can't fight in melee, while my Musketeers and my Pandurs from Austria are supporting very, very well. And that is it for the green player. No army left, and I'm just gonna stand here and spawn kill whatever comes in my way. In the meantime, it looks like Josh is moving up with his army again, trying to push out Bob Beemon. But Polak, of course, saw that, moving down his enormous army to help out. And it looks like it will be another battle of the fields. Who's gonna push forward? It looks like the Hungarian Dragoons just have much better range. They're able to shoot down so many things. And these Dragoons are called light cavalry, by the way, if I recall correctly. Yes, light cavalry. That is the 18th century Dragoons for Hungary. Now we see that the round shears are starting to move in. The King's Musketeers have started to shoot as well. And the light cavalry are running straight into the fire. Oh no, this is not going to be good at all. Everyone needs to start shooting. Polak is doing a great job with his battle line right here. Just absolutely obliterating whatever Josh sends. Oh, that hurts to see. But still a very disciplined defensive job from both Bob Beemon and from Polak. They've done a great... Polak has done a massive job for their team. Defending, absolutely massive job. He just needs to go on the offensive a bit more as well. And like I said, here I just keep insta-killing, and I think I will start making, archers from the Diplo Center, so I can start destroying the mines and just eventually whittle down this base. Just killing everything in the meantime, and eventually I will need to start sending reinforcements to help out. Now, speaking of going on the offensive, Polak is actually pushing forward with his army. What's he gonna do? Is he gonna go towards Josh, maybe? Because Josh doesn't really have a strong army right now. He is making the Sheklis, which is the 18th century Musketeers from Hungary, who doesn't have a bayonet, but what they do have is an insane amount of firepower. You just look at them right now. 43 damage, fully upgraded. 43 damage compared to 20 damage. They have more health as well, so they are absolute powerhouses. They take a long time to train, though. No, 6.5 only. That's not that bad Compared to 4.5, of course, it's a bit slower, but for an efficient musketeer like that, it's actually not that bad. Now I'm starting to remass some of my armies because I need to help out here. We will have a battle here. Who's gonna win this hill? Another battle for the hill. But it looks like the Hussars have caught the Dragoons unawares. They didn't move and attack, and the Hussars are gonna make clean work. And from the other side, I come with my Hussars killing the Musketeers. And all of that massive army that Polak has set up has now been obliterated by the combination of these three armies. Fast cavalry, man. Very, very hard to face when you play with a lot of Dragoons and Musketeers. But we won it. Beautiful fight there. So now we have three combined armies starting to move up towards Bob Beamon. To hopefully wipe out his base once and for all. Still, just trying to kill the mines here up in Tarantul's base. Polak is just massing up his forces again. Oh, now there we see a surrender from Polak. His mines went suicide, so did a lot of his peasants, a lot of his buildings, and that is a call for surrender from Polak. So the strongest player, I might say, has now GG'd out of the game, which means that Tarantul and Bob Beamon are going to be the only ones left. And this is a beautiful position for Bob Beamon. Standing his French chasseurs up on this hill, they will be able to shoot down a lot of things before we even can get a shot off. So that was a very, very good positioning on those units. Couldn't do it any better myself. Maybe making into column formation. No, I love it. I love it. And see, am I going to try to go for that hill? Maybe. And this is once again why you never attack units standing on a hill. Look at the chasseurs. They get shots off without anyone being able to respond. No one can answer with that firepower. The chasseurs are just killing everything. An entire army up in dust, basically. Pulverized. Without even being able to respond. The chasseurs are just too damn strong standing on that hill. Amazing work from Bob Beamon, absolutely. And of course it sucks for us. He's just gonna keep shooting my Pandours because they also don't have the range. I need to get them up on the hill to have like a decent advantage, or walk around getting up here. But that position is just too strong to hold. I think we need to go with a lot of Hussars, actually. Now it's starting to move down. Why? You have a perfect position right there. I guess because he wants to defend his base, and now Grenadiers are starting to set fire to stuff. And I wonder, are these are still mercenary Grenadiers, so still very, very weak compared to the 18th century Grenadiers. But now the chasseurs came down, facing the full wrath of Milkman's army. No Hussars, just good old-fashioned muskets and swords and shields. And that is the end from Bob Beamon. Surrender on his side as well. And I am guessing that, yes, Tarantul has surrendered as well. A lot of his buildings were destroyed without anyone touching them. So I'm guessing that he has GG'd out. All the mines are gone. Nothing really. Yes, now those buildings are gone as well. And that is a full surrender from our opponents. This was a fun game to play, actually. I felt pretty comfortable most of the time. But also, I of course saw that Polak absolutely, yeah, he bossed around like crazy in Bob Beamon's base. Killed so many armies. So he did such a great job. So of course Polak was a bit scary. And when he surrendered, then it was basically a GG from the whole team. So such a fun game to play. If you want to join the Discord, feel free to do so. I leave a link to it in the description. We try to play as often as all of us are able. But of course, the more people we get in the channel, the easier it will be to get more people to play with. But we are spread out from all different parts of the world, which of course means that time zones are an issue. But still, we're trying to play as often as possible, and we're always having a great time doing it. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great day and take care. I will see you in the next one.
The Weird Bubble.